Thank you, Ganapati. Dear President Karthik, dear Secretary Mr. Venkatesh, dear past presidents, governors, present and past, lovely members of this excellent club, and my dear friend John Frederick, all the lovely people who are here, who have been throughout this evening enjoying this wonderful initiative of Charter Night. I'm extremely elated to be a part of this event, and as an awardee, I think awards do two things. Awards and recognitions encourage what has happened. For example, whatever that I've done in life, these sort of awards and encouragements or recognitions do remind me that I need to keep going. That's really required right now. We all need recognitions, we all need encouragements, even at home for that matter. Even if your spouse makes a lovely dish at home, we need to appreciate that. As a public speaker, I've come across a lot of people coming to me for counseling as well. And most of the times, the issues boil down to lack of appreciation towards one another. The husband not doing so to the wife, or vice versa. The children not doing to the parents, or vice versa. The father, son, it happens all the time that people need to be appreciated, and when that's missing, the relationship goes haywire. And I'm elated for another reason, that it gives me a sense of responsibility to proceed further, to keep up the same spirits, to maintain the energy, and to make sure that I continue with the same level of enthusiasm. So it does two things. Number one, it encourages me and it reminds me of my responsibility to proceed further. I suppose the matter in this way. Remember, I was, while receiving the citation, asked to probably be there behind, and I insisted to be here. The reason is that I don't believe in compromises based on my visual challenge. I really don't believe in that at all, because I've got a strong pair of legs. So what's the big deal? First point. I remember to have said the same thing to my principal of the school, where I was the only visually challenged student, as the school never had such a student admitted in its history. The principal had its own apprehensions as to how I would be managing in the whole school. So he asked me, in fact, before which, let me share that interesting experience with you. I studied in a school for the visually challenged till my 10th standard, of course. And I wrote the exam along with all the other people who could see. But I understood that studying, or probably education, was the only means through which I could excel. I could see the world. And so that resulted in my scoring district first in 10th standard, by scoring 487. That did not really make a great impression upon the principal, although he did appreciate me for that. He said how I would manage studying along with all the people who could see. And he went on to talk me about one particular obstacle, as he put it. He said the 11th standard classroom was going to be in the 3rd floor, and how I would climb stairs to go to classes every day. Even as a 10th standard completed boy, I had the confidence to answer him back saying that, if you don't mind my saying it, I'm quoting myself, if you don't mind my saying it, I have two strong pairs of legs. I can even climb Mount Everest. What about third floor? I mean, that's nothing every day. So he was impressed. He got up from his seat, came and patted on my shoulders, saying that he would give me admission, but he would observe for a month how I would manage. And again, I understood that the educational excellence alone would save me or salvage me. So what happened? I was class first even in my 11th standard midterm examination at the point in time immediately. And the net result was, in the 12th standard public examination, I scored 200 out of 200 in both my accountancy and commerce. So that was the way I could answer the principal very nicely. The principal was so happy and he said, please recommend the other visually challenged students who would probably be admitted in the school wholeheartedly and happily. So that was how I started my days with Loyola College, where I met Freddie, of course. We had lovely times, and during my post-graduation, UG as well, and post-graduation, I emerged as an outstanding student, scoring gold medals in English literature and particularly in the subject phonetics. I think I have been recognized for this particular academic records, and I worked as a lecturer, an assistant professor with the University of Madras after my MPhil and clearing my UGC slate and net. I was very happy there because of a reason that I didn't have to teach much. It was a great salary, but less work. Probably that went on for some time, for about probably 4 or 5 years. I wasn't exactly happy then. I realized that I was meant for something else. So I resigned my job, which was absolutely a dead decision according to my mother at that point in time. I resigned my job, founded my own organization. Now I feel that whenever I get assignments, I don't get payments, but I pay my trainers, I pay my singers, I pay my entertainers. And that gives me a sense of satisfaction. As a public speaker, I've been able to meet at least 50,000 people in a year in gatherings, huge gatherings. I remember to have addressed 25,000 people at a stretch in Malaysia at Genting Highlands. It was a Namlifa conference, the insurance industry over there. And I was able to make an impression 2 times, receiving standing ovation both for my song and my speech. Why am I talking about it? I just want you to know that the club, North Madras, has recognized me for my talents, for my abilities, all right, but more than that, for my confidence that I spread infectiously to all the people, that nothing is impossible, provided you have the will, determination and action plan. The third one is very, very important. Will, determination and action plan, with which if one proceeds, everybody will be awardees, everybody will be recognized in their own ways and even at larger platforms. I am so honored again that I am aware of my responsibility. I will certainly go ahead with my responsibility and probably make many more youngsters capable of receiving awards of this magnitude, greater magnitude. That's my target. I always have vision for the youth, people studying in schools and colleges. If you watch my social network activities, mostly pertains to youth development, particularly students, and more particularly students in the higher secondary, high school and college, tertiary level. Because I think they are the people who are absolutely willing to be written. They keep their minds as blank slates. Now, adults, I suppose, as a Chinese proverb would say, keep yourself as an empty cup so that anything can be poured in very comfortably and the cup can receive as much as it can take. So I think the youth, as rightly pointed out by our RA director, past director, first of all, let me thank you for the lovely words showered upon me. So kind of him. And coming from him, who has already achieved great things in life, great things in Rotary, great things in society, it gives me even more responsible feeling, and also I think I don't blush usually, but I felt a little shy when I got from because coming from him, because he's done remarkable things as a Rotarian, as an RA director. So nice of you. First of all, to praise people, you need a certain magnanimous heart. I'm sure you'll all agree. We can't really appreciate people. Some people, in fact, don't even appreciate. I always tell my youngsters, if I may call them fans or friends and students, to appreciate one another even for small things. Like, for example, one may come with a good pair of shoes, for example, or one may come with a good pair of glasses, or maybe the attire, the jacket, maybe the tie, or whatever. We need to immediately appreciate that by expressing ourselves so vividly. Sometimes people go out of the way even to ask for compliment. They say, how am I looking in the shirt? And they say, oh, is it a new shirt? Okay, yes. And sometimes it happens that how are the shoes right now? Am I wearing? Then the person says, the shoes are nice. The mind voice says, the shoes would be even greater if I won them. Another one, usually people always say, they talk about the material value. Shoes, immediately they go to the material value. How much did you buy it for? Suppose you say 3,000 rupees. Oh, you've been defrauded. I bought this shoe just for 300 rupees. I remember at home. The person definitely loses his sleep. So I think complimenting people definitely helps yourself first of all. When you compliment, you help yourself. You improve yourself. You develop a certain healthy attitude within yourself. That's going to help you even to grow richer, financially and otherwise. Now, I always set up a tradition. I have not begun that way here. Remember last time I met people over here, I always start my salutation with the prefix healthy. Not good, but healthy. For example, healthy evening now. Healthy morning or healthy afternoon, depending on the time. Now it's healthy evening. So I tell people healthy evening. Health is a very nice term. I love that term. It is not simply the physical health. It's not simply the six packs that you talk about. It is the emotional, financial, social, and if people call it intellectual health, all inclusive. So let me have your lovely voices reciprocated to me, although a little late after I'm going to almost conclude right now. But let me have your lovely voices spoken to me. Healthy evening, friends.
Healthy evening.
The ladies seated. I have not heard you at all. Why you don't want health at all? You want health, don't you?
They are very quiet people, sir. They are very quiet people. They don't talk at all.
No. Please, let's not surprise them by just allowing it again and again, giving the allowances. They are always quiet, so please leave them. No, I won't leave them at all. I will never leave them because they are not to be left.
Thank you for encouraging. Healthy evening.
Healthy evening. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Must be about 4 or 5 ladies out here.
No, sir. Plenty of ladies are there.
Plenty.
They are hungry, sir.
Oh, plenty and 20.
Shout.
Let me have all your voices again. Healthy evening, ladies.
Healthy evening.
Oh.
That comes ahead. Okay. You come with your spouses?
Yes.
Yes.
Very much.
Now you know their health. Their voices over there. Somebody would say, why is it called the mother tongue? Because fathers don't speak at home. That's why it's called the mother tongue. So here they have spoken so nicely, so loud. So I think it's a question of expressing yourself unabashed. If people, for example, you might have noticed me sitting in front, going to receive a award, but I will not feeling shy at all to give loud applause to people as and when required, right? And people clap so miserly sometimes. It pains. We just clap, okay. I think yesterday I was at FETNA event. By the way, it's a North American Tamil Association conducted event. And Dr. Chokalingam, a very renowned cardiologist, was there. And he was sharing some nice jokes, like for example, at this age of almost 75 or so, he would never use the elevator, even if he was going to the, let's say, 5th floor or 4th floor. He would want to climb stairs. So the lift man would always ask him, "Vanga, vanga, vanga," in Tamil. So he would ask, "Yepa thodra pandra?" Then he would say, "Illa illa, mela seekiram poiduvinga. Adukku dhaan pa povan nanu sonnen. Mela no, the reason why I'm talking about him is that he was there in that meet, and he was talking about the importance of clapping as a doctor. He said, clapping, it not only encourages the person who's being clapped, but when you applaud, it activates a lot of your cells, lot of your muscles physically. It makes sure that you live longer. That's very essential. And you live healthily too. It definitely is an anti-heart disease medicine. You can go ahead clapping nicely to people whenever you feel like it. Please don't feel unabashed. After all, these sort of Rotary initiatives are there for people to exhibit talents, to exhibit leadership skills, to exhibit initiative skills, to exhibit public speaking skills, and to exhibit social skills. Is that right? So I think we need to be very expressive. Even if we are small in number in gatherings, we can make sure that for a person like me, for example, I understand the gatherings based on the audio, the applause, the yeses and no's that you say. For example, the lovely lady who soulfully and single-handedly voiced her healthy evening very nicely. What's her name?
Nalini.
Nalini, okay. Nalini the nice. I always give adjectives to people whenever I meet them, whenever I remember the names. I always